Hello, dear aspirants. Welcome to Selection IAS. How are you doing? Today we are beginning the history of medieval India. Let me tell you first, most of the candidates here in UPSC prelims examinations preparation, okay, they usually skip this portion, right? But my suggestion would be that before believing on anything, okay, you should analyze the previous year questions, okay? So recently, if you analyze the previous year questions of 2019, then you would realize that UPSC had asked 10 plus questions from medieval Indian history only. Okay. So you can't miss such topics nowadays, right? When this prelims examination has become so much unpredictable. Okay. At the same time, we definitely have to focus on those aspects which are favorite of UPSC, right? If you see in medieval history also there are certain topics, okay, like we have Delhi Sultanate, we have Mughal Sultanate, we have Vijayanagar Empire, we have Chola Empire, right? Sufi movement and Bhakti movement. Every single year they are asking questions from this section, both from in prelims examinations also and in mains also. Okay. So my suggestion would be that do not skip any part completely, right? At least you should have some threshold points, right? So that if any question is going to come, you can able to solve at least half of them. All right. So here also we are going to cover the important topics first, and then the less important topics. Okay. So we are beginning with the Imperial Cholas, the history of Chola Empire, and there you go. Let's analyze the rise of Cholas. If you remember in ancient history, I have taught you about Sangama period, right? So after the decline of Sangam period in South India, Cholas became feudatories in Urayur. Okay, so earlier they were feudatories of Pallavas, and later on they became prominent in the 9th century and established an empire comprising the major portion of South India, having the capital in Tanjore, right? Now, there are some special developments during the reign of Cholas. Okay, for example, they actually extended their empire up to Sri Lanka and Malay Peninsula in Southeast Asia. So this is why it becomes really important in the history of early medieval India. Fine. The founder of Imperial Chola line was Vijayalaya. He was the founder of this Chola Empire, and his son Aditya put an end to the Pallava kingdom by defeating Aparajita and annexed Tondaimandalam. Okay. So his son Aditya completely eliminated Pallavas, right? And they were well known for their temple architecture. We will discuss that. After that, Prantaka first was one of the important early Chola rulers. He defeated Pandyas and ruler of Ceylon. Ceylon is the old name of Sri Lanka only, right? Prantaka first was a great builder of temples also, right? So he also provided the Vimana of the famous Nataraja temple at Chidambaram with a golden roof. Okay, what is Vimana? I will tell you, right? We have beautiful pictures for all those temple architectures under the reign of Chola Empire. We will analyze that in detail. So let's first discuss the political developments of Chola Empire. There are two famous inscriptions, Uttar Merur inscriptions. Okay, so please remember name of such inscriptions, because you do know in mains examinations also you are supposed to put such kind of important inscriptions. Okay, inscription related to Asoka, Samudragupta, the Chalukya king, right? And also Hathigumpha inscriptions and all, right? So we have these Uttar Merur inscriptions related to history of Cholas. Fine. So these inscriptions also mention about village administrations. Okay, in fact, they were very famous for their local self-government. Today we see the structure of Panchayati Raj institutions. Okay, so under the Chola administrations also we have some account of village administration, some account of local self-government. Okay, on similar pattern of Panchayati Raj system that we are having today. Finally, in 1985, Chola Empire gained its supremacy under the rule of Raja Raja I. So it was under Raja Raja I only and his son Rajendra I that the Chola Empire reached its highest point of glory. So they defeated Chera, they defeated Pandyas, and earlier we saw that Aditya also defeated Pallavas also, right? So now they don't have any competition in South India. Later on, the invasion of Sri Lanka, which was entrusted to his son Rajendra I. Okay. So they also captured this Sri Lanka part. Okay. Chola power extended up to the river Tungabhadra. Okay. So remember this point. This one is quite important one. Fine. Because they actually defeated Satyasraya, right? From the Chalukyas, I think. Okay. And they captured this Raichur Doab. Raichur Doab is, one of the famous Doab in Karnataka between the two rivers, Tungabhadra and Kaveri. Okay. Raja Raja's last military achievement was a naval expedition against the Maldive Islands. So they also conquered these Maldive Islands in Indian Ocean. Fine. So this is why we call it the magnificent history of Chola Empire. Also, as happens with most of the kings, they assume so many titles. So Raja Raja first also, he got so many titles like Mummidi Chola, Jayang Kondam, Jaya Kondam, because he won the Jaya Island of Southeast Asia. Sivapada Sikara, right? And he was a follower of Saivism. Please remember, because UPSC sometimes frame questions like this king was follower of Buddhism, Jainism, Saivism, and so on. Okay. Raja Raja first also completed the construction of the famous temple, that is Raj Rajeswara temple, also known as Brihadeswara temple at Tanjore, okay, which was built in 1010 AD. So almost 1000 have been completed, more than 1000 years have been completed, right? Fine. Though he was a savage, but still he supported the construction of a Buddhist monastery. Okay. And please see this map carefully. Yeah, here. So it talks about the trade routes during the Chola Empire. Fine. So all these areas, okay, with the blue colors, with the blue shade, they are actually the Chola territory. Fine. And you can see this is the trade route from South India to Southeast Asia, right? This is Indonesia currently, this is Indonesia. And then from here, you are having trade routes up to Japan. Fine. So to explain the trade routes of Chola Empire, you are supposed to make such map in your answer in the mains examination. Okay. Now after that, his son, he was succeeded by his son Rajendra I. So he also followed the aggressive conquest, the policy of aggressive conquest and expansion. So during the reign of Rajendra I, the whole of Sri Lanka was made the part of the Chola Empire. Whole of Sri Lanka. Right? Number one. Number two, he reasserted the Chola authority over the Chera and Pandyas country. He also defeated Jayasimha II, the Western Chalukya king, and river Tungabhadra was recognized as the boundary between the Cholas and Chalukyas. Right? See, with the help of this picture, I want to tell you that at that point of time, the Chola, Chera, and Pandyas, right? Chera were mainly in Kerala region, Pandyas were in southern India, and Chola in Andhra Pradesh region mainly. So they were associated with some symbols. Fine. For example, this Chola, the symbols of this Chola Empire was tiger. Okay. In the case of Pandyas, it was fish, and in the case of Chera, it was this bow, right? This point is going to be important one. Okay, please pay attention. Rajendra I defeated Mahipala I of Bengal. Okay, and to commemorate this successful North Indian campaign, Rajendra founded a new city with the name Gangaikonda Cholapuram. Gangaikonda Cholapuram, the city of the Chola who have conquered the Gangas. All right. Yeah. Also, he constructed the famous Rajeshwaram temple in that city. So please remember, Rajeshwara temple was built by Raj first, but this Rajeshwaram temple was built by Rajendra first. All right. At the same time, he also excavated a large irrigation tank called Chola Gangam on the western side of the city. Right. This city, Gangaikonda Cholapuram. At the same time, they were very, very famous for their naval expeditions. All right. So Rajendra first, he actually sent his naval expeditions to Kadaram or Srivijaya, currently Indonesia. He assumed the title of Kadaram Kondan. Also, like his father, he assumed a number of titles, the most famous being were Mudi Kondana, Gangai Kondana, Kadaram Kondan, and Pandita Cholan. Fine. He was also a Sav, follower of Saivism, but at the same time, he was also tolerant towards Vaishnavism and Buddhism also. Now, we have gone through the political history of Chola Empire. Now it's time to focus on their administration. Okay. And please, from here, focus on the keywords. Okay. Because in the medieval history, UPSC is very fond of making questions on keywords. Okay. Keywords related to administrations of Delhi Sultanate, administrations of Chola, administrations of Mughaliya Sultanate. Okay. So here we go. First, let's discuss about central government. So basically, the emperor or the king was at the top of the administration. So it was a kind of centralized system of administrations, but still it was having some features of local self-government. Fine. Then let's come to the revenue. The land revenue department was well organized, and this department was called as Puravu Varithinai Kalam. Okay, sometimes these terms are really difficult. Okay, but we have to focus on this part. Puravu Varithinai Kalam. Fine. Number one. Number two, all lands were carefully surveyed and classified for assessment of revenue. So land revenue was based on assessment of the land. Okay, survey and assessment of the land. At the same time, the residential portion of the village was called Urnattam. So please remember this keyword, Urnattam. In the context of medieval Indian history, it's related to, so they were actually residential portions of the village. At the same time, during the hard time, there were remissions of the taxes as well. Okay, and there was famous king from this dynasty, from this Chola Empire, was Kulotunga first. So he became famous by abolishing tolls and earned the title of Sangam Tavirt Cholan. Now let's discuss about the military administrations of the Chola Empire. The Cholas maintained a regular standing army consist of elephants, cavalry, infantry, navy. Okay, but they were very famous for their navy. Okay, the royal troops were called Kakola Perum Padai, right? And apart from this, within this, there was a personal troop to defend the king also. Okay, it was Vilai Karar. The Cholas paid special attention to their navy. Okay, and this is why during that time, Bay of Bengal became a Chola lake for the some time. Getting this? This Bay of Bengal came to known as Chola Lake due to their strong navy. With the help of their navy only, their achievements actually reached its climax. Okay, they even captured the Southeast Asian region. Okay, for example, we have Srivijaya. Okay, the part of Malaysia, the part of South Indonesia currently. Now, as I told you, they were very famous for their village assemblies. Okay, village administration. It was a kind of local self-government. that we are having practical in the form of Panchayati Raj institutions today. So the system of village autonomy was with sabhas. Okay. We have two inscriptions that we just discussed, right? Uttar Meru inscriptions, they talk about village assemblies and local self-government of during the Chola Empire. The village was divided into 30 wards. Okay, not important, but simply just have a general idea that norms of qualifications and disqualifications were also mentioned. Okay, it's not like this is a kind of local self-government. Okay, having some democratic values. Yeah, the committee members were called Variya Perumakkal. Okay, so these were some committees. Okay, in order to take care of all the administration associated with wards and villages. Let's discuss the socio-economic life during Cholas. Okay, so here you have to remember just 3 points. Number one, caste system was prevalent. Yes, it was prevalent. Number one. Number two, there were two divisions of caste. Okay, Valangai and Idangai caste, right? Number three, the positions of women did not improve. Okay, the practice of sati, the practice of Devadasa system were also prevalent. Both Saivism and Vaishnavism continued to flourish during the Chola period. Okay, temples remain centers of economic activity during this period. Okay, in fact, in men's examination, UPSC asked a very common question on the importance of temples during the medieval Indian history, because it was not just a place of worship. Okay, it was actually a center of economic activities also, right? Village sabhas and assemblies also, right? For the education purpose also, right? Agriculture and industry flourished, simple. And they had commercial contracts with Chola Empire, okay, between Chola Empire and China, Sumatra, Java, Arabia. Okay, so please remember that this is something that we have discussed with the help of the map also. In the case of education and literature, fine. So during that time, during this Chola Empire, apart from temples and mathas, right, there were some colleges for the educational purpose as well. Okay. And there, not only Vedas and epics, but also mathematics and medicines were taught in all these institutions. Fine. Then we have some literary sources, okay, which were mainly in Tamil language, right? So please remember, Shiv Kasi Tamani, Ramayana, composed by Kamban, Tamil Ramayana. This is known as Tamil Ramayana, okay, composed by Kamban, and Periya Puranam, and also Tondar Puranam. Fine. I'm sorry for the pronunciations. Okay, I think these are Tamil keywords, right? Yeah. So these are some of the literary sources associated with the Chola Empire. Okay, just have a general idea. Now, this is going to be the most important one from the whole unit, the art and architecture during the Chola Empire. Fine. See, try to observe all these pictures. Okay. Yeah. So this shape is known as Vimana. Okay, Vimana. This shape, okay, this triangular shape is known as Vimana, right? So it became prominent during the time of Cholas only, right? And also, this is one of the famous posture of Lord Shiva. Okay, this is known as Natraja. Natraja. So we have also have a specimen, okay, of a bronze Natraja Shiva idol from this Chola Empire. Now observe this picture as well. So see, this is the full premise of the temple, right? And this is the entrance. The entrance gates, okay, these are the entrance gates, and they were known as Gopurams. Gopuram. In art and culture also, we have to discuss the temple architecture, right? The Dravid architecture, the Nagara architecture. Okay, so we will discuss that part in art and culture. But here, With the help of this picture, just try to have an idea that this is Vimana. Okay, the entrance is known as Gopuram, and this is the main temple, right? And in main temple, we have this triangular shape, and this triangular shape was known as Vimana. This Vimana and Gopuram also become prominent during the time of Cholas only. Fine. So the Dravidian style of art and architecture reached its perfection under the Cholas. The chief feature of the Chola temple is the Vimana. And the big temple at Tanjore, the Raja Rajeswara temple built by Raja Raja I, is a masterpiece of South Indian art and architecture. Shiva temple at Gangai Konda Cholapuram, built by Rajendra I. Okay, that is also another beautiful example of temple architecture. The walls of the Chola temples, such as at the Tanjore and Gangai Konda Cholapuram temples, contain numerous icons of large size with fine executions. Okay, so they were having decorated walls in temples also. This was another specimen, another characteristics of the temple architecture during the Chola Empire. Yeah, so this is the poster of Nataraja of Shivji. So the bronzes of the Chola period are world famous. The bronze statue of Nataraja or dancing Shiva, okay, is one of them. So this was all about the temple architecture and all about the Chola Empire, right? This is what is relevant for you. So just let's revise the topic in 1 minute quickly. So for the prelims examinations, please focus on some of the important keywords from this unit. Okay. For example, first of all, you should have a basic idea about the rise of Cholas, that they actually in the beginning they were feudatories of Pallavas only, and later on they became prominent and established their own kingdom in 9th century. And have a little bit idea about Aditya Prantaka first, Raja Raja first, and Rajendra first, and about their basic achievements. Okay, and the key terms associated with them. For example, Gangai Konda Cholapuram. This is related to Rajendra first. All right. Rajeswara temple is related to Raja Raja first. And this map is important for the mains examination. Again, you can revise all these symbols associated with all these kingdoms, Chola, Pandyas, and Chera. Then have a little bit idea about the Chola administration. So simply focus more on the village assembly, the local self-government part. Okay. And some keywords. Okay. For example, we have Urnattam. So what is the meaning of this Urnattam? You should focus on that part as well, right? And also this provincial administrations. Okay. So provincial administrations were actually divided in different mandalams. Okay. And further, mandalams were divided in Valnadus and Nadus. Okay. I think this part we missed last time. Okay, no problem. So this whole Chola Empire was divided into mandalams. Mandalams means provinces. Okay. And further, all these mandalams were divided into Valnadus and Nadus. Getting this? Yeah. So royal princes or officers were in charge of mandalams, and the Valnadu was under Priya Nattar and Nadu under Nattar. So please remember, Priya Nattar is related to Valnadu and Nadus were under Nattar. Fine. The town was also known as Nagaram, and it was under the administration of council called Nagarattar. Fine. Then you should have an idea about the local self-government, because they were having village assemblies, right? And also there were some norms of qualifications and disqualifications, okay, to become the member of that sabhas. Then for the socio-economic life, please remember caste was prevalent, yes. Okay, the positions of women did not improve because we have some evidences of practice of Sati and Devadasa system. Devadasa system is related to, having dancing girls attached to temples. Fine. Then we discuss education and literature, and art and architecture. So this was all about the Chola Empire. Thank you so much. God bless you.